Everyone knows, everyone can see, and everyone knows but you and me. Everyone can tell, they know so well, and everyone knows but you and me. Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Session 4 of Songwriter Sessions. I'm your host, Barry Chauvin, and we're here at Digital Sacalé Studios in Houma, Louisiana with Pershing Wells, a great engineer. I'm very excited to welcome into the studio today a songwriter who's been everywhere. Mr. RT Hall.
Yeah, nice to be here.
And RT is going to tell you that story of how he lives and where he lives.
Well, it's a pretty easy story to tell. I live in a motorhome, and we travel the country full time. Have been doing it for nearly 13 years now.
Great. That's so cool. That's so cool.
Well, it's a lot of fun.
And how many more years are you going to do that?
Till
the wheels fall off the motorhome?
My wife forced me to make it a 5-year contract with the continuing years. So at least 5 more years.
All right. Well, cool. And how long have you been writing songs?
I've been writing songs since I was 16, so let's say 45 years.
It's more than a few years.
More than a few.
All right. And so what I thought we'd do, RT, today for this show is I wanted to get into more of the techniques of songwriting, and we can share with the audience. So what's your favorite techniques of starting a song, or ways you do it, or if you have a favorite, or the one you use the most often?
Well, everybody's going to be different. It doesn't matter. And I'm generally a lyrics first person. I do lyrics and then come back and do the music to it later. Or in a co-write situation, I send the lyrics to somebody else once I establish a rhythm. And
when you write your lyrics, you kind of write them out in lyric, verse, chorus?
Yes.
It's kind of written out already in a song format?
No song is going to go without changes.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't matter who writes the song, but you got to understand that you're going to write the changes. So, as a general rule, I start out with a piece of paper. I sit down and I write down the idea.
Gotcha.
And yes, it comes out in verse-chorus format. May end up with the chorus first. May end up with a verse first, and then try to build off the verse.
Right.
I have had music in my head that I had one song that we drove basically from New Orleans all the way over to Arizona, and I was playing this tune that I could not think of a word to, and we got up into Colorado, and it was just this moment that I wrote down, and there it was. We had the tune and lyrics all together.
Just waiting to happen.
You can't formulate how you write.
You can't force it.
You can't force it. The whole concept of sitting down and getting the idea down, even if you're writing in the verse format, don't worry about the lyrics rhyming at the end.
Exactly.
You're going to come back and change it anyway. And if you're going to change it, you might as well try to make it structured like you want it after you've got the idea down.
Yeah, that's good advice. And what tools of the trade do you use?
I generally use a piece of paper, to start with.
Yeah.
I rarely write any of the music down till I've played it, 20 or 30 times, because I'm going to change the music as I go. So I will try to not be hung up on making it perfect the first time, because I'm going to work into it. I mean, it takes me 6 months to learn a song anyway, and that's even one that I write. So
right, and you have to remember it.
I'm not going to be hung up on the details.
So you use a rhyming dictionary?
After I write it down on paper first, I will go back to a word processor, and I will use a thesaurus and a rhyme zone is what I use out of the The
I like to use a word processor, and I split the screen.
right.
And I put the rough draft on the left, and then I start pulling things over and rearranging on the right.
That's a very good way of doing it.
And that's a cool idea because you don't lose anything.
Right.
And you can always put it back.
Well, I'm coming from a piece of paper, so
Right,
I don't
right.
have to split
Well, I
that
generally
screen.
start on paper,
Yeah.
but then when I get it something there, I like to put it up there and split that screen.
Yeah.
So the song you're going to do today, what method did you use to write that one?
This song was a lyrics first. It was a situational song. I saw somebody in a situation,
Gotcha.
and I related it back to myself and back to this. This goes all the way back to my high school, and that's a
Wow.
long time ago.
Yeah, gotcha.
So the words came first,
Sure.
and the tune came later.
And then the words kind of suggest the music to you?
It did, especially in this song.
The style, the tempo, the mood.
It's all I write are simple songs. I don't try to convey a lot of messages.
Right.
I may have messages, but I'm not trying to convey
Right.
something deep and dark. Or
Okay.
I'm a light songwriter, I guess
All
you
right.
could say.
Gotcha.
But then my whole concept is presentation and the music. The way I said the lyrics,
Exactly.
the music presented itself.
Yeah, I think the way you express it means as much as
Correct.
the lyrics themselves or the music
Oh, yes.
itself. You know. Well, I'm dying to hear it, so let's get right at it.
All right, we will.
Great.
So back when I was in high school, I guess you could look at me and tell that I wasn't dating all of the best-looking girls in high school. But I hung around them a lot, and a friend asked me one day how I managed to hang around all these good-looking girls. And I told him, well, they need somebody to talk to about all their cheating boyfriends. They need this guy friend to confide in, and I'm it. And the conversations always ended with, gee, I wish they were more like you. So the charmed one in your life now has other things to do. His new inspiration has little to do with you. His heartbeat is the prison you've developed for yourself. Now he chooses life ahead to be with someone else. Hey, darling, don't you think too much about him. Hey, darling, put him out of your mind. Hey, darling, we've more important things to talk about and a better use of your time. The world you built around you has led you to serve my thoughts on what I see. You have less than you deserve. I hope you take a new approach, life around you to improve. And if there's a question of love, no, mine for you is true. Hey, darling, don't you think too much about him. Hey, darling, won't you put him out of your mind. Hey, darling, we've more important things to talk about and a better use of your time. You've got so much to share, well, darling, so have I. We can build a life together if we only try. Hey, darling, won't you please just think about us. Hey, darling, let us roll around in your mind. Hey, darling, we've more important things to talk about and a better use of your time. Hey, darling, won't you please just think about us? Hey, darling, won't you please just think about us? Hey, darling, won't you please just think about us? We'll make better use of your time.
RT, I really enjoyed that song, and thanks a lot for sharing it.
My pleasure.
All right, and any parting words of wisdom for the audience out there? So since you've been at it for a while, what do you want to tell the folks who are just starting songwriting?
Well, if you're just starting songwriting, don't get hung up at the first. Get your idea down, either on paper, word processing. Get it down, run with it.
Run with it. That's great advice. Thanks for coming, man. I really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure.
And thanks to the audience out there. And this is session 4. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the button down below, and you'll get notified of other sessions that are coming up. And with that, RT's going to play a little bit of his song to take us out of here, and we'll run the closing credits.
Charmed one in your life now has other things to do. His new inspiration has little to do with you. His heartbeat is the prison you've developed for yourself. Now he chooses life ahead to be with someone else. Hey, darling, don't you think too much about him. Hey, darling, put him out of your mind. Hey, darling, we've more important things to talk about and a better use of your